Autumn here on your Thursday. It looks like we made it to another Thursday. And I'm just coming in for just a bit. I know I opened up earlier this morning. I was talking about this TikToker that was apparently shot in a confrontation with ICE agents. And in the back of my mind, I'm already running it through my rhetorical plot machine, X-ray machine, and you know, we'll just see what you guys think about it. So yeah, this is I mean, I saw this on Yahoo News, or maybe it was NBC News initially is where I saw it. So the headline there is man shot in ICE confrontation, was a respected and admired citizen journalist with TikTok following. So so yeah, I just had a few comments about that. Watchmen, bonjour, des amis, mon ami, ça va? Si parlez-vous français? Yeah, I'm just dropping in because I mean, I'm running this through my kind of run it through the rhetorical plot X-ray machine, and it all comes out with a tone, with a sympathetic tone and all. But I think that's a part of some of these things are going hand in hand. Well, good for you. Good for you. It's, I say, cheers to you. It's time. It's just time to finish up Watchmen for sure. I mean, I had a longer Tuesday, and sometimes that one longer day, can affect the rest of the week. So you said you're going to basketball tourney. Oh, fun. Fun. Are you playing in the tournament? Or are you gonna be out, are you gonna be in the crowd? Are you gonna be a fan? It's all good either way. Either way, it's all good. So yeah, I was just talking about this I was just coming back with this ICE confrontation. So yeah, but it just seems like these stories that are coming out, it's like, okay, certain things just seem to be going hand in hand. And that's why I say I feel like we're on a loop cycle from 5 years ago, because cleaning up, street sweeping crime and street sweeping illegals and all of this stuff. It just seems like it's got a flavor that. Hi, Derek C. Williams. It's got a flavor that that just won't quit. Derek C. Williams says, I got one play. Hold on. Watchman says, I got one play left in my 40 knees. There you go. Keep it up. Derek C. Williams says, in relaxed mode, folding clothes after working overtime all week. There you go. It's time for you to play. It's time to play, or relax and play. I don't know, whatever order you choose. Okay. But make it happen for yourself. He says, going to watch my daughter play. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, support. That's what you need. So what I'm talking about this video was, there's a video out on this situation, and I don't know if it's being, sometimes some of these things that come out to, I'm not sure, because of all the tensions with the immigration issues in the country, and then of course you couple that with who's in office. They have all the ingredients for the perfect brew, and that's what you get. It's like this. I mean, this narrative has somewhat of it has a sympathetic kind of tone to it, but it's also Realize, how are you? Thank you so much for coming in. So let me just get into this just a little bit. Okay, Derek C. Williams says, basketball is my favorite sport. I love the way they dribble up and down the court. There you go. So I was just checking into this. Derek C. Williams is going live from Xfinity Mobile Center for the home opener for the 76ers versus Charlotte Hornets. Hornets. All right, there you go. Look at you with the venues. You're coming in with the starry venues. So apparently, let me just read some of this. Okay, so it says apparently this comes from NBC News. It's man shot in ICE confrontation, was a respected and admired citizen journalist with TikTok following. Okay, so according to this, the first video, Richard LA, quote, Richard LA, end quote, posted to TikTok, appeared on August 21st, 2024. Quote, the accident at 27th and San Pedro, end quote. He wrote in Spanish under video clips showing two damaged cars and paramedics pushing a man on a gurney into an ambulance. Quote, two people were taken to the hospital, end quote. Quote, Richard LA was actually Carlitos Ricardo. I don't want to get this wrong. Is it Parias or Parias? Parias. I'm getting it wrong right now. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering this up right now. But yeah, so he's 44, a father of two living in southern Los Angeles. His TikTok feed soon filled with similar clips. A fire at home on 36th and Trinity Streets, a car crash on 29th Street and Maple Avenue. So I'm just going, I'm just kind of going through this and seeing, I mean, there's some bells going off in my head that are really more, more spiritual kinds of bells. But I'm just thinking that these stories are inflammatory. And shout out to Derek C. Williams. I wanted to say this. Let me just kind of drop this in here before I keep going. What I'm saying is, I've talked about the censorship self-censoring is really tricky. And it's almost like, you have to break the habit. I don't know. It's almost like to me, it's that fine line between a Freudian slip at this point, or is it really the effects of self-censoring for so long? Okay. Because I remember last night I was talking about the whole thing with the Japanese prime minister and a huge stimulus package. And I said she's going to use the stimulus package to quell the inflammation. And I'm like, wow, because I think at some point, maybe I was self-censoring and using the word inflammation rather than the word inflation. So I'm just saying it's very, it can be very much ingrained in you because to me, it's a form of abuse. It's counterproductive, it's counterintuitive, but you practice it. So it becomes a part of your subconscious. So I'm just saying, Derek C. Williams says self-censoring is akin to brainwashing and then being debriefed. And see, Derek C. Williams, friends out here, the prolific Derek C. Williams, he has had an iron rod in his back. He has not acquiesced to self-censoring. Unlike myself, I was almost ready to create an entire code. There were people that created entire codes for their channels in 2019 and into it was almost 2 years. It was greater than that. It was longer than 2 years. It was longer than 2019 and on. It was past COVID-19. It went on for a long time. So I'm saying, I think subconsciously it's something that, I'm not saying I'm a Derek C. Williams. I don't know if I ever overcome my self-censoring, but I'm saying I'm making an effort to do that. But then when I say something that's so fluid and so comfortably to use a word like inflammation versus inflation, it just kind of reverbs the depth of the effects of that. To me, might be more long-term effects than I realized. So thank you for that, Derek C. Williams. Derek C. Williams says, think about it. The timid flee when none pursue. Coronavirus emergency was declared over in May 2023. Question, why are the COVID idiots still wearing masks? The masks are coming back. The masks have made a comeback. I've seen many masks in an armpit town. Okay. And I don't know. I can't speak to why these people are wearing these masks. I don't know. Um, it could be a multitude of reasons, but it could be maybe, some things have been injected into the media. Okay, and Derek C. Williams says that's brainwashing. Creators are still saying unalive. Yeah, and I know I could think of one off right away, and that word is really off-putting to me. I don't even know if is that a real to me. I'm pretty sure that's debatable. But let me keep going here. Let me go. I'm gonna hold on 1 second. So his audience grew steadily over the ensuing months, and his clips were consumed even more widely when he began to focus his camera on the immigration and customs enforcement raids roiling Los Angeles. Multiple videos he posted this month got more than 50,000 views. Quote, he has risen to become this very credible, respected, and admired citizen journalist, said Angelina Dumaro, a spokesperson for Los Angeles City Council member Curran Price. Quote, he did it with a lot of love and a lot of passion in a very courageous way. But there was something many didn't know. Price was an undocumented immigrant himself, according to federal authorities. And on Tuesday, he was targeted by federal agents trying to arrest him in an immigration proceeding, leading to a chaotic confrontation in downtown Los Angeles. So I'm just going to tell you right off, the tone of this whole thing is very much, it's empathic, very much, there's a victim tone here. Just from the word choice here. I mean, I'm I'm just making an observation here. So I'm going to keep going here. So Parraes was the subject of an administrative immigration arrest warrant and had avoided capture before, prosecutors said. After having watched Parraes walk out of his home and drive off around 8:45 a.m., agents boxed in his Toyota Camry, federal prosecutors say. The agents left their vehicles and ordered Parraes out of his car, but he instead drove forward and backwards, striking two of the law enforcement vehicles, according to prosecutors. When an agent tried to break the Camry's driver's side window, prosecutors said Parraes drove, quote, more aggressively, end quote. Plumes of smoke began to billow from the vehicles, apparently because of the spinning tires, prosecutors said. With the agents fearing Parraes could hit them with his Camry or dislodge it from between their vehicles, one opened fire, prosecutors said. Parraes was struck in the elbow, and a deputy marshal was hit in the hand, according to prosecutors. A witness who arrived as the agents were wrestling Parraes out of his car said it felt like a, quote, little war zone. Let's see, Derek C. Williams. Do you see the tone in here? Do you see a, quote, little war zone? I'm not even going to put, this is a left-leaning article on it. I'm just telling it's very empathic, and it's very emotional. It says, let me read Derek C. Williams' comment. He says, a woman you would love on YouTube, hostess Carmen JC, a collaborator of hers, was just assaulted at a No Kings protest last weekend, simply asking questions with the public is now a risk. Wow. Let me put it like this. I have not been a boots on the ground type of personality. No, I haven't. I mean, even going back to the George Floyd reaction, because I think somebody in, was it spring? It was in La Mesa. I think a girl ended up getting shot back during that time. And this is a small La Mesa down on Spring Street. It's a small community. I used to live in La Mesa. So it's very familiar with, because you have a police station right there. You have a little downtown area. You have, I think you can get the trolley from there. You can get lots, but I haven't been a roving type person getting out there, getting these types of stories, because a lot of people have been going to these ICE protests and getting hit with whatever they're spraying or whatever they're, whatever they're shooting, it's been a risk. I've seen some older people doing it. I mean, I'm just not gonna, those are, somebody has to do it, somebody wants to do it, but in these times I'm not a proponent for that. That's not my shtick. Derek C. Williams says, like you, she had her quote walk away in quote moment, damn near word for word like your classic video. I don't even know where that video, I guess that video is still out there someplace, but I think I wasn't, Brandon Strock, I guess. Brandon Strock had an entire movement or whatnot. And see that, but my movement wasn't a part. This was an independent, my walk away was an independent walk away movement. It wasn't I wasn't, doing a video like that to say, hey, Brandon Strock, take a look at my walk away moment. Oh, you got to see my walk away moment. No, that wasn't the intention. It was just a manifest, I think, for me. And I figured, why not just share it with the general YouTube? But I think YouTube was not taking very kindly to that because it was during a general election year. You still have that video in the vault. There you go. So yeah, it's probably time to vault up and it's probably time to put those things in the vault just to hold on to them, because who knows, if things get wiped, where will they be? So yeah, but it was, to me, I think I actually probably walked away. I think walking away happens in a couple of phases. I think the first phase is it happens up here first. And it's more like a moment, an enlightenment to me. It's more of that than it is, than a walk away, so to speak. So, okay, hang on, guys. All right, so we're back to this citizen journalist that got into this confrontation, with an ICE. It turns out he had an administrative warrant. Okay, so it says the man was clearly in a lot of pain, end quote, said the witness, who spoke on the condition of anonymity. Parias, who is charged with assault on a federal officer, was still in the hospital Wednesday, postponing his first court hearing. Okay, hang on a minute. I'm a little backed up here. A little bit slow. Okay, so his immigration attorney... Yikes. His immigration attorney, Carlos Urado, told NBC News that he tried to speak to his client Tuesday night, but was barred from doing so. Urado said they had a brief conversation by phone Wednesday morning. Quote, he was confused as to his medical condition, as to the severity of his injuries, and he was confused as to what was going on, end quote, Urado said. A spokesperson for the U.S. Attorney's Office in Los Angeles said he wasn't privy to Parias' medical condition and doesn't know when his first appearance will be. All right, so they have here, it says an ICE spokesperson didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. Now, there's a whole video online, but this is the part where they kind of inject, oh, well, he was this beloved person and he was targeted, and just injecting more, division and more, just more of the same. But I'm just kind of running it through my own little rhetorical X-ray machine here. This is Parias was an unlikely social media star, a native of Puebla, Mexico, where he was working in construction before he embarked on a path as a citizen journalist. Quote, his car was full of tools, said Jose Ugarte, a deputy chief of staff to Price, the city council member. Quote, he said it was kind of tough these days to find work. So he turned to recording videos of the goings on in his neighborhood and posting them to social media. He often went live at crime or accident scenes, calmly narrating the events playing out in front of him. Unlike some citizen journalists, Barais would steer clear of interfering with law enforcement and or engaging in confrontations of any kind, according to Ugarte and other family members with his work. Let's see. Pariah started becoming well known in the tight-knit, heavily Latino district where he lived, but not all of his good deeds were broadcast on social media. A neighbor said Pariah once tracked down her husband to alert him that their car window was left down. Quote, he didn't have to do that, end quote, said the neighbor, who spoke on the condition of anonymity over fears of being targeted by federal agents. Quote, he's just a very good person, she added. In August, Price's office presented Parias with a certificate of recognition in honor of his, quote, unwavering commitment to keeping the South LA community informed, empowered, and protected. Ugarte said Parias shed tears when he was presented with the certificate at a neighborhood park with his teenage son looking on. News of his shooting and arrest shocked and saddened many who had come to rely on his reports, according to the staffers in Price's office. Quote, the whole community is shaken up, Dumaro said. Quote, this feels very targeted and not for the right reasons. Ugarte said it was uncommon for Parias to reach out about incidents in the neighborhood. Their last exchange, Ugarte said, came September 26th when Parias sent him an urgent message. According to this, quote, Jose, there's a fire on 55th and Avalon. It read, please send the fire department as soon as possible. So here again, you got this hero type. You got this hero, this kind of a hero arc, even though he was this illegal immigrant. You know, they're showing you where he started and then where he ended up. But then exactly where he's ending up, still unknown, okay? But that's the flavor that I'm getting from this. So I guess I'll probably hang on, watch this story a little bit and see if any protests come out of LA, you know, depending on what happens to him. So finally it says Ugarte said he called the fire department and was told it was on the way. When he checked TikTok, he saw that Parias had gotten there first and was already recording. So, hello, Mr. Is it Duane or is it Dwayne Roman? I don't want to get that wrong. How are you? Thanks so much for coming in. So yeah, so we've got this little bit of a character arc here where a guy starts out as you know, he starts out as he's a construction worker, and then the work dries up, and then he eventually turns to reporting the news and reporting, you know, like a kind of a community watch person, and then he kind of blows up as a TikToker. And then lo and behold, one day he is confronted with his he's confronted about his ICE administrative warrant, and that he's been avoiding. But then they're still giving you a whole lot of empathy and sympathy for him due to, I think, the circumstances in which, you know, that he's done all these good deeds, yet he's still targeted by ICE. So I would imagine that more of these stories are going to come out. What's the purpose of it? I think it's to pretty much just inject more narratives into the media, to add more fuel to the fire, or everything has a purpose, right? Let's see. Watchman says, I don't know where YouTube just sent me. What? Hey, who knows? Who knows? I still think that they're playing games around here. So dare I say, could you guys please hit the like button? You know, if it's worth sticking around here, just, you know, hit the like button every now and then. It won't hurt. It won't hurt anyone. You know, it's free. It's free. So yeah, Derek C. Williams says, there was a story of an illegal alien female TikToker influencer that was deported while she was live. Really? That is interesting. Wow, you talk about throwing caution, blowing your own cover. I mean, no pun intended there. I mean, yeah. Wow. Blowing your own cover. But I don't know. I mean, I guess when you're low on, I mean, I guess when you're low on cash, if you can get your social media influence off the ground, I mean, I guess, you know. So again, maybe the bottom line here is that social media has no doesn't have a status. There's no, but I don't know. I don't even know what the um like TikTok. I'm not even sure how old do you have to be to have a TikTok account. Was it 13 or I think a lot of kids just make up ages to get on these to become content creators themselves. So yeah, interesting. Um, but yeah, I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. So just kind of wanted to look into that piece just a little bit and just to see where like exactly where are they going with this. So this is going to be one of those heartstring kinds of stories, which is going to yank at the at the community, whatever the South LA community that he was a part of, and it's probably going to yank at the activists on for illegal immigration, whatnot. So I figured that's if for no other point, it's just going to inject more tension into that whole theme of the whole cycle. So we'll keep an eye on it. I mean, is the guy a hero or is he, what do you think? Put it in the comments. Those of you watching in replay, put it in the comments. Was the guy some type of a hero or was he just, trying to get over and, you know, make his way, rise to his own, was he trying to live the dream? Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you so much for coming in. So let me go through here really quickly. Watchmen, of course, Watchmen came in first. I really appreciate it. Watchmen on the way, finishing up your work. The prolific Derek C. Williams, as he's relaxing and doing folding clothes and laundry and all that. I appreciate it. I used to, it's funny you say that. I almost wanted to do a series, like a laundromat stories, like from back in the day, like even out of like when I like an overseas like laundromat stories, because I would make the most of my time in there. Like I would multitask. If I went to a laundromat, um, like France, the laundromat in Nice, it was very clean but very small. It was in the old district, but it was kind of neat to go there and people watch. But yeah, laundromats, you can do all kinds of things in laundromats, especially if you end up there by yourself. It's a little bit less creepy, I guess, if you could keep yourself occupied. Let's see. John Roberts. Yes, very much. I agree. Very much crazy times. So, and then sometimes these stories just seem so scripted, like 36th Street and Trinity. I mean, come on. 36, a fire at a home on 36th and Trinity Streets. Either I've been watching too many decoders, too many zealous decoders, or that just kind of sounds like a lot of spiritual bells are ringing on that one. Just a lot. Um, Chicken Strangler says the crazy times stem from Trump and people not critically thinking. Well, everybody you got to think. You got to think first. Only you can prevent brain rot. No matter whose face is, no matter who's behind the Oval Office, you still got to use your own. You got to use your own brain. You got to. Yeah, as I said, only you can prevent brain rot. And I mean that, and I say that in with no braggadocio. It's real. In these times, people have just they don't read, they don't want to think, they don't want to do any of that. They don't. And I said this last night. I said, okay, I find myself being, you have to defend education because people are offended by education. Yeah, yeah, and that's a dilemma. When you spend more time trying to defend why you're educating than, you know, you try you spend more time trying to defend from the offended. Derek C. Williams says Trump derangement syndrome is real. Ask morons. Robert De Niro and Bruce Springsteen and obese Rolla. Yikes. Yikes. Well, it'll never stop. John Roberts says TDS is real, mass psychosis. Yeah, I mean, some people are just, I don't think they ever really, they don't, I don't know. They just, the guy is on their mind, he's got their minds, for the lack of a better, for the lack of a better phrase, he's got their minds, he is what Trump is who he is, and he's not changing. It won't happen. It doesn't matter. So you got to deal with it one way or another. All right, guys. So I really appreciate it. I just want to let you guys know that this all started with an NBC News story. Man shot in ICE confrontation. Was a respected and admired citizen journalist with TikTok following. So to me, that's kind of oxymoronic. The fact that they would put respected, admired citizen journalist. Citizen, you're a respected, admired citizen journalist, but then they just revealed to you in the same article that the guy was allegedly undocumented. I don't know if respected and admired comes to mind if you're going to put those, something a little bit off about that. I don't, but they've got to sell the paper, they got to draw you in, they got to do all these things. Derek C. Williams, he says, it's what the American public doesn't know that makes them the American public. Line taken from Ray Zelinsky in the movie Tommy Boy. There you go. There you go. Well, once again, I appreciate you guys so much for coming in. And if you guys want to drop your links or hit the like button, that's always welcome around here. I appreciate you guys. I'll tell you, I'll probably come in. I'll probably have a little bit of a drive, kind of a mobile stream tomorrow, because I have a little bit of a commute to do tomorrow. So we'll see how that goes. So let me just give a shout out to everybody that's in the stream. Starting out with the Watchman, who came in hot first. And then there's, of course, the prolific Derek C. Williams, followed by Realize. Thank you so much, Realize, for coming in. I appreciate it. And let's see, who else do we have? We had John Roberts to come in, for sure. And then we had Mr. Duane. There's Duane or Duane Roman, who came in. And I think we had somebody else. Was the guy, I don't want to say, was his name not Chicken something? Was it Chicken? I don't want to get this. I don't want to say this wrong. I don't want to, I'm not trying to say, I'm being disrespectful by calling somebody a chicken. But I swear that somebody had a name like that. If you're new to the channel, thanks so much for coming in. Have a look around. The Chicken Strangler 3826. Chicken Strangler 3826. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. All right, guys. Easy. He says, card carrying conspiracy theorist isn't a flex, buddy. All right. Well, just be easy. And we have, people in place for that. But like I said, I want to thank you guys so much for coming in. I appreciate all of your thoughts and all of your reflections. Yeah, I really do. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much, Derek C. Williams, and everyone else. Realize. John Roberts, the Watchman. Let's see. Even the chicken. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is the flavor. If this is the flavor that you're going for. But yeah. But At the same token, thank you so much for coming in, guys. And I hope to see you guys. It'll probably be bright. Might be bright and early. Might be a morning stream. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Until then, bye for now.